Wow,
For
right.
that low growling, that where the guy sings like this and he sounds like the devil talking at you.
Yeah, I don't like that
It's
crap.
that kind of music. I don't like it
No,
either.
I don't care for that. I like the stuff where I can hear what you're singing. That's the reason I listen to country nowadays.
I
I
like
grew up.
I like all kinds of rock and roll, but I also like Tanya Tucker. I like
Oh, I do too.
Dwight Yoakam,
I never got into
Willie
Yoakum, but I
Nelson.
got into most of the others.
You guys, let me interrupt for a minute.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, great. Sorry about the delay, everybody. I finally was able to stream just a minute ago, and so we already got a room full of people here, and we're anxious to talk about model airplanes,
Yeah, let's get back to planes.
and
Get off the guitars, Phil.
talk about
Yeah.
flying and competing, crashing, and hopefully repairing and getting back up in the air again.
No, let's don't crash. Let's don't crash, Charles.
And
I just spent, brother. I just spent 3 months putting a Nobler back together.
oh,
I could have built a new one faster.
right.
Let's don't crash them.
So anyways, let me encourage everybody who's listening. You can come into the conversation through the Stunt Hangar website. We have a link called At the Bench, and I posted at the bench the link you'll need to get into this conversation live with a camera and a microphone, and you can join the conversation. Now, if you're not a member, you need to become a member to come in the program, and you need to register with your first real and last name with a space, and allow Sparky enough time to actually approve you. But in the meanwhile, you can come into YouTube and you can be part of the conversation through the live chat. I do keep an eye on that. I have monitors, and so I watch that, and I will include you in that. Matter of fact, let me pop that out so I can see what's going on the live chat. But looks like no one's there. I just got it live. So, all right, gentlemen, carry on. I think we're cooking with gas now.
Has anybody found an easy way to do this? Put a spinner, hook a 3-blade spinner to a prop, make it work. You know, cut it and make it fit right. I have
No,
spent hours on this. This is just a labor. You have to really want this to make this work.
Yes.
But
I'm looking.
it's looking good. But I've still got a little bit more to go. But there's got to be an easier way.
No, when I
I,
opened up the spinner for my prop, you can
Uh-huh.
shove cats through the holes now.
that's not
Well,
what Philip wants. That's not what we want.
when I go to a contest, I just went to Atlanta here a few weeks ago, and I see planes like Treyans, and he's got a spinner on that thing you can't buy. It's gorgeous. I mean, it is literally gorgeous, and everything fits exactly, and it's just precision. And then you go over and see others that look like they cut it out with a hacksaw, and I'm trying to figure out, did you already have that spinner? Because I'm betting you didn't pay $42 for the spinner and then take it home and hack it up like that. If you did, you got a lot more money than I've got. So when I have to pay that kind of money for a spinner, I want to take my time and do it right. I want
To
it to
tell,
fit.
to tell you the truth, if I have to pay more than $5 for a spinner, it ain't worth it to me because my planes don't last that long.
Oh man, even the plastic ones cost more than that now.
I
Even the
buy
plastic.
I buy the Dubros with the two Allen screws in them.
Yeah,
I buy those for like $5.50.
and they're $7.50 here. I just bought one. Here he
Oh,
is. Howdy.
Well, I've got to say goodbye because we've just arrived at the store to get our farm supplies and
All right.
transmission oil. So
Well,
I'll bid you all a good evening.
holler at us when you come back. You take care of yourself. New
Okay,
Zealand
well,
is
if we get a chance.
all right.
Thank
New
you.
Zealand is looking
Girls
beautiful.
coming in.
Take care of yourself.
Take care, you guys.
Yeah, we'll see you all. Bye.
take it easy, Gerald.
What's going on, sir?
Phil, you got a haircut.
Yeah, I did. It was about time. I needed a shearing.
I'm resisting.
What's up with your right hand, John?
Oh, I had some skin cancer taken off my wrist,
Okay.
and
Well,
it
I'll tell you.
hurts.
Yeah, I bet it does.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, I bet it does. Sorry. Well, it's better removed than continue to faster.
Well, yeah, I had a fast-growing squamous cell taken off the back of my right calf, and this thing started up about a month ago. It started up. It was like a pinprick, a little pinhead.
Right.
And so they went in and they took it off to biopsy it. I told him what I thought it was, and he called me up a couple days later and said, "You're right. It's a fast-growing squamous cell." And that's what killed my wife. That was, and so I didn't want anything to do with that. So then they set me up and said, well, we'll come back and take a look at it, and we decide then whether or not to do, whether we need to take any more. Well, we got in there and I said, look, I'm in here already, and I'm scared to death of this particular type of squamous cell. So I just assume, that while I'm here, go in there, take it out, or see if there's anything there, whatever. Well, they took a fairly decent chunk out of there, so I'm glad I did. So anyway, that's what's wrong with the hand.
All right.
Oh,
I had the same thing right here on my arm,
did you?
and it's a big, ugly-looking scar. It looks like a burn mark.
Yeah.
And the guys at work used to ask me what happened. And I said, well, I was giving an apprentice a hard time, and he burned me with a soldering iron. Because that's what it looks like. It's the size of a big, those big coppers they used to use?
Yeah.
It's that size.
Wow. Well, you don't want to mess with them, because if they metastasize, that's what happened to my wife. It started on her upper lip, and by the time they drug their feet on doing anything about it, and by the time they did, they had to take off half the inside of her lip up clear around her nose, and had to remove the eye tooth because it was all on top of it. Anyway, it had grown.
Did it get to her gums?
Huh?
Did it get to her gums?
Yeah. So
That's
then
what happened to my brother.
Yeah. So then they did radiation therapy on her. We went through like 3 months of radiation therapy. They get done, and they send her home, and she's okay for a day or two, and then she starts feeling lousy. We took her in, and they did a scan on her. And put my gun there, right here, there was one that was on the outside of her skin, and she had all these spots on her lung. They didn't catch it in time, and that's what killed her. She died 3 or 4 weeks later.
Wow, that's
so talk about fast growing. That is fast.
That is, and so that's why I didn't waste any time with this. I'm scared to death of that thing. I haven't seen how fast it grows. How you doing, Jim?
I tell you what, you're going to be here in just a few weeks. You're going to start being a very popular fella.
How's that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. My other job.
Man, I tell you what, if you wanna mess a kid up, a young child up, 5, 6, 7 years old, find one that's acting up in the store.
Oh, I do that.
Just walk up to them and say, "You better be good. Santa Claus is watching you."
No, I just go up to them and I go. And they'll go.
Yeah. Tell me you have a rock, some bags of coal for them for Christmas, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't even have to do that. It's just, they look at me, and all of a sudden their eyes get real big, And I mean, I have more fun with the Santa gigs I do, because you always run into the kid that's a diehard, says he doesn't believe in it, but really deep in there, he hopes it's still true,
Right.
And I had one, he come up there, put his hands on his hips like this. He says, "You're not really Santa Claus." I said, "No, I'm not." He looked, and I said, "I'm his brother."
Oh, that's a good one.
That is good.
Santa's busy, man. He sends me down here to take care of this stuff.
Oh my!
Oh man, that's a good one. I like that.
I had another one. I didn't wear glasses at that time, so I had these little old grandpa round. They're just frames, There's no glass in them. And I had this little gal on my lap. She was sitting there. She's real quiet, and all of a sudden she reaches up. She goes, sticks her finger through the frame. And she looks at me on her. I said, hey, I had LASIK surgery. I don't need the glasses anymore.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Oh, you a bad dog.
Oh, you gotta be quick with these little kids. They are so
Hey, Bill.
Hi, Bill.
Man.
Hey, Bill.
Hey,
Good
Bill,
evening.
how are you?
Bill.
Well,
Good.
I tell you what, it's something. But when you can just lean over and say, "You better be good," Santa Claus is watching you. And
Oh
they
yeah.
just-
I've done it where Mama's got the kid and the kid's throwing a tantrum, you know, and I'll get her and says, "Is it okay?" You know, I'll get her, and she'll say, "Okay," and I'll go up to her and say, "You really don't want to act this way around me, do you?" I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Why not?" I said, "Look at me. Who the heck do you think I am? I always check. You know, it says Santa's always checking his list. Yeah, I'm checking the list on you, buddy."
Oh, that's pretty good. Oh, me.
It's
I
fun
tell
when
you,
you got a good resemblance to him, you know.
You
yeah,
need to
you
carry a
do.
roll. You need to carry a roll of that cash register tape so you can check your list and throw it out there on
Yeah.
the floor.
No, what I need to do is carry a pocket full of cold nuggets.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's hard to clean up, though.
Well, you put it in a plastic bag, you know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that would be a good idea. I hadn't thought of that. All right. Well, anyway, has anybody done any flying this week?
Well, I went flying Wednesday, but actually, I shouldn't say I went flying. I actually was coaching this guy on how to fly. Um, we finally got this is the same guy that had a hard time landing, and this guy is landing so good now. I've been teasing him and going, man, you are just like you got it down so packed. You can teach me how to land. And so we went from my trainer to his ringmaster, and he's flying that good and landing it good. And so now we're transitioning to flying inverted. We're just trying to work that out.
If he can land a ringmaster, he's doing something.
I know.
But if he gets too big for his britches, I'll send you my stunt wagon. Let him try that one time. You either get that one right the first time, or you're gonna hop along Cassidy.
Yeah.
Boing, boing, boing.
Oh, I've never flown a stunt wagon. It's worse than the ringmaster as far as
Oh,
landing.
yeah.
Oh, God,
He's
yeah.
way too far forward.
Man, the
That
stunt
gear
wagon.
is out there, man.
I have a stunt wagon 30 that I can grease in every time on asphalt. It'll flip over on grass, doesn't weigh enough. But I have a stunt wagon 60 with a Fox 59. That's one everybody knows me for. And that plane, you either grease it or you are hanging on for the ride. It's just boingy, 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 boingy. And once it starts, it just doesn't stop.
My ringmaster's like that too. It's a pogo stick.
Yeah.
Oh, man. My ringmaster does great, but that big stunt wagon, man, that's the plane that taught me to land. You had to learn to land,
Yeah.
or you got laughed at a lot, and I got laughed at a lot in the early. Terry McDowell, tell you a quick story. Terry McDowell flew Tommy Looper's Nats winning stunt wagon one time. He will not fly it again. He won't fly my stunt wagon. He's got the record out here. He says he's the only guy he ever knew that's flown a stunt wagon and has 100% perfect landing rating.
Wow.
He only flew it one time, but he
Okay.
greased that sucker in beautiful, and he will not fly it again. He said, "I'm not ruining my record."
I used to say I could get 40 points on a landing with a 1 point per bounce.
Yeah, that's about the truth.
That's funny.
That's about the truth. I'm telling you, the little 30. Everybody says the little 30 is horrible, but I slowed the controls down as much as I could slow them down, and it flies great. But when you go to land, man, that is the hardest. If you fly on grass, it wants to flip. It just touches down, looks like it's trying to roll, and it rolls over on its back. And
The All-American Senior is almost that bad.
Yeah. Senior was the one that prompted me to call. I forgot his name now. The gentleman that designed those planes, that plane,
DeVoe.
and Pappy DeVoe. He lived in Florida at the time, And I called him and talked to him. I said, I'm getting a lot of flack at the contest. A lot of the guys are fussing about the landing gear. Where is it supposed to be on an All-American Senior? Because the plans just show it on the plane. And where is it supposed to be on the one I'm catching flack for, the stunt wagon? Because it's not shown on the plans. He says, we had those things everywhere, those landing gear everywhere from under the propeller to under the wing. He says, anywhere should be legal, but these guys, everybody wants to be the authority, and they decide it's got to be right where it is shown on those plans. He said, those plans don't look anything like my original plans.
Oh wow!
Is he still alive?
No,
Uh,
no, Pappy died about 5 years ago, I think.
does anybody have his original plans?
I don't know. I tried to find out, and I never did. He sent me a letter and told I sent him a picture of my stunt wagon, and he sent me a letter back, and he said that ought to be more than legal because they're in front of the wing. They're at the front of the wing, but they're at the front of the wing. And he said, no, that ought to be more than legal. And Tom Looper got all kinds of flack when he won the Nationals with a plane with the carbon fiber landing gear. It was a Bali, and if you know the Bali, there's like 6 inches difference between where it mounts the fuselage and where the wheels are. So Tom Dixon, when he built that airplane, it mounts way up under the wing, but the gear is still underneath the lead edge. And I've forgotten the gentleman's name that raised the stink and just, he was just all kinds of upset that Tommy was even allowed to fly that thing. It was so illegal. Keith Trossel wrote Tommy a letter, and he said the only thing wrong with that airplane is Tommy flies it too darn well. He said there's nothing wrong. Where it does not matter where it's mounted, it matters where the gear are, and where they are is perfect. He said that plane is absolutely legal. And Keith, if anybody argues with Keith, they really got rocks in their heads.
Oh yeah.
Keith is the authority, period. If he will take a stand on it, you can bet it's right.
Yeah.
He is a heck of a gentleman and very, very knowledgeable.
Have you seen his archive system? He has got drawers and drawers. They line the whole side of his shop when he lived in Tucson. One whole side of that shop was the drawers. And in there, he had just about every article that had ever been published on stunt aircraft and scale aircraft.
Wow.
And, we've got a discussion. Let me get this out here. We got into a discussion one night on Stunthangar about the Electra. And
Jerry something's airplane.
No, not Jerry's. Dick Williams Electra.
Oh, Dick Williams Electra. Okay.
And fine airplane.
Mm-hmm. Didn't he win the Nats with that one time?
Well, he went to the World Championship with it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here he sent me this packet.
Give me a quick on you, John.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead. You're allowed. Put it back up, John, please. Okay.
Am I big now?
Yeah, you were big.
Okay, here. I wrote the article.
Oh, very
right.
And I did the drawings for the plans off of the original drawings.
Wow.
Including the mistake that was on the plans that I didn't know about, and that one of the wing ribs was off-sized. And so I built the first one, and I had to play with it. There's the...
Oh, nice.
Nice looking airplane.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is.
Now, it's also a very nice flying airplane. Bart Klipinski's airplane,
Tempest.
the one he won the Nats with.
Tempest is built off of that airplane.
Right.
Uses the same wing, and the same stab and elevator. He just changed the fuselage. Now, here's a picture of Bart. Anyway, Keith sends me this whole article and all of this information. And because I have a copy of the magazine somewhere, but since moving, I haven't been able to find half the stuff that I got. Let's see if I can get this. Here's Bart Kopinski kneeling down with his Electra.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because
Look at that smile.
Dick Williams mentored Bart. And Bart
Wow.
built like 2 or 3 of them.
He did too good a job.
Yeah. And I built mine, took it to the Nats. I had not flown it yet. Not Nats, to the VSC. I had not flown it. It wasn't finished. I did the final finishing at the in the motel room.
Good
And
gracious.
I went out. My third and fourth flights were competition flights.
Good grief.
And I finished, and I'm just an advanced class flyer. I finished 16th at VSC that year with it.
Wow.
Very good. That's very good, John.
That is very
Well,
good.
it was the airplane. The airplane flew so well. Now here's another picture, and most of them were finished like this. This was a red and white one, and
Nice.
the tail here, that was red and white.
Right.
Here was red, and it had the lightning bolts here were gold, and it had gold trim around here. The hard part of building this airplane is this part of the wing right here.
Yeah, raise it up a little bit, John.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is this part of the wing right here?
Uh-huh.
Because the wing is elliptical if you look at it from the front. Okay. And so you have to do some fancy cutting to get
It's
it.
got a nice little break in the front. I built one, and that really worked on me.
Yeah, it's not the easiest thing. Here's the wing plan. Get it where?
No, there you go. Very good.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I don't think I have a front-on view that shows that, but anyway, the point I'm showing all this for is that out of the kindness of his heart, Keith sent all this to me so I would have it. There's the fuselage.
Yeah. Nice.
Is that a half A?
No. Well, it's a pretty nice size plane.
It was actually powered by McCoy 40. Let me turn it right side up.
I
That's
think
nice.
it's a 53, 52 and a half or 53 inch thing, isn't it?
Something like that.
I haven't had it right side up.
Yeah, I thought that was a little piece of paper and it looks like a little plane. My
Yeah,
bad.
no. But anyway, it's a heck of a nice plane. And this is the one that I learned the secret of getting the plane to land on the mains. And it comes in and lands, and you bring it in almost any reasonable angle, and it just sticks. It hits and sticks, and it'll roll out on the mains.
That's nice.
And it'll roll, a full circle if you want it to.
Nice.
I'd get it to where it wouldn't take off, wouldn't go fast enough. Then I give it a little up and set the tail down, and then when it slowed down more, I give it full up to try to slow it down.
Right.
And I got to where I was stopping right in front of the judges.
Nice.
And Ted Fancher was one of the judges, and he yelled at me, he said, "You're learning all them tricks, aren't you, John?" But the key on getting the plane to land on the mains like that is the location of the wheels relative to the center of gravity when the plane is in horizontal, and any good team racer knows that it's 14 degrees from the CG to the point where the rubber hits the ground, not the axle, but the rubber hits the ground. 14 degrees is the minimum.
Right.
And this plane is set up at 18 degrees. And it had, like I say, the most fantastic landings. I think you could go to 20 degrees, but you get beyond that, it's going to bounce.
Yeah. I'm gonna try that.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah,
So
but
do you know
another-
Bart Penske pretty good, John?
Oh yeah, I know him real well.
Why don't you give him a call and see if you can get him to come into the show? Because he came in when I was staying at his house for VSC, and he seemed to enjoy it. But he had a computer that had some issues. But maybe by now he might have a better computer.
Well, I think I could do that. I think if he's not here, it's because he's busy being a bachelor, and
Oh Lord.
and he does come up here to Salt Lake and spends a week or two with Gordon in the summer, and he did that. I didn't get a chance to go up to Gordon's house to be with him because it's a 200-mile trip, so I didn't do it. But you know, I see him and talk to him every once in a while. I'll ask him about it. You know.
Good, that'd be great. I mean, I know him a little bit, but you know him more than I do, or better than I do.
Well, the one who knows him best is Gordon Delaney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to get Gordon in here too.
You know what? I'll try to get Gordon in here. I'll give him a call.
Gordon, I'd be surprised. It's not Gordon doesn't know his stuff or doesn't want. He doesn't like being on the computer, apparently.
No.
Yeah, that's what we're up against because our hobby is predominantly people that are a little bit older, and it's a different world. They're still not really into the computer like my kids. They grew up with the computer. They have a
Yeah, my
simulator.
kids too.
It's part of an appendage to them.
Right.
As older guy, like I still don't like to read on the computer. I mean, I'm 62, and I know my way around, but I would rather
Youngin.
print it and then read it.
You're just a kid, Cheryl.
That's what I'd like to hear.
Yeah, I can razz Charles. He's a youngin.
Yeah.
I'd hate to tell you how old I am.
You are even more of a kid.
I'll be 55 at the end of this month.
Child.
Really? All right.
Oh my word!
Ring chicken.
No wonder you like that music. My goodness, you grew up with it.
Well, I grew up on Hollywood Boulevard in the 80s.
Yeah, I grew up with the Beatles, so. Yeah.
I got a couple of things to show.
All right. I mean, quick.
Okay.
Bring it on, Bill.
Yeah.
It's an
Okay,
airplane. Let's
here's
see what you got.
My baby Nobler profile.
Oh, your baby.
That's cool.
All right.
That is
Making
very
some
cool.
progress on that. And then the electric clown. I've been working on that too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, very nice.
You know,
I
and I was
like the clown.
I was asking about that hole in the back here,
Right. Right.
and somebody said, no, that's for the venting. I get the battery goes through here, and they said that's the vent. But yeah, that seems like kind of a big vent.
Well, you need a lot of vent. You got to get a lot of heat there. You can get trapped in there and mess up your battery.
Yeah.
You got to remember, whatever it goes in, you need at least half again that much coming out.
That's
At
right.
least half again that much coming out.
And if you made a little balsa structure there that would come up and go and be open to the back,
Mhm.
that will help get hot air out of there too, because it creates a suction behind.
Mm-hmm.
And
Like
it'll
a V, right?
Well, yeah, you can do it straight sided. You can curve it.
It's like this inside the wing. So
Yeah, we don't have to
the air
do
would
that.
go this way and that way.
You can do that if you want to be cool, but you can
I want to be cool.
You like to be cool, but you
That's
can
my last name.
come up. You can just come up with on the one side and leave an opening maybe 3/4 of an inch to an inch high, and the width of that cutout, and close that in so that the airstream hits it. It goes by there and sucks the heat out of there. You get more, or you can do like trainers say, you can do it top and bottom, or you can put a V in there. Whatever, you just want to get the heat out of there, out of the battery compartment.
Sparky has arrived.
If the battery and the ESC gets hot, your motor is just too small.
Well, you talked about that, and I agree with you. But
Mhm.
if you don't have good cooling there, your battery's going to get hot, whether your motor's big or small.
Mm.
Because
Well, I've
the heat
always,
got nowhere to go.
Trayan, I got a question for you.
Hmm.
Trayan,
Yes,
where do you order your the Joker from?
landing gear.
Lindinger.
Yeah,
Okay, I was ordering from a place in Germany, trying to,
that's
and
the
I can.
landing gear. Yeah.
Oh boy, I can't seem to get that figured out. I tried to order the motors, and you get to where you're trying to send it to the U.S. and it's $29.95 to send it to the U.S. And then when you hit I can't remember what you hit, but anyway, somewhere in the finish up, they charge you for the motors, but your shipping charges disappear, and it says pick up at store.
yeah, I can.
Um,
I just went through that. I tried to just order 2 of them, and they are not shipping out of Europe at all right now. So you can't. They don't have any to. I mean, they can't ship them out. And that
oh, okay.
shipping thing, you just ignore it. If you tell them you want it shipped, they figure it out. Um, that motor is strictly a front mount. I
Oh
also,
yeah,
there's no rear mounting that motor.
that's fine.
Um,
I think it has an adapter for the rear mount, Jim.
it has that little X thing that you could probably use.
Yeah.
How's my volume tonight, anyway?
Oh, you're
You're
pretty good.
loud.
Good.
Good.
You're very good, Jim. You're
All
like
right.
everybody else. That's awesome. Thanks for fixing that. That's great.
Yeah, and we can see you tonight too.
Yeah. Well, that's because I was going to show you something
Are
to
you gonna?
Philip.
We're in trouble.
Philip wanted to know how to do a 3-bladed spinner.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
This is a true turn electric spinner.
Right.
Can you see how that is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you look at the slot, it's perfectly straight.
Right.
Uh-huh.
That's how you kind of start. I will tell you, it is challenging to make a 3-bladed spinner cutouts.
I know.
If you're traying, you can, you had some. I'm sure he was doing that on a machine. Now I don't know what kind of spinner that you got, but I will tell you this: that one of the services that True Turn offers is you can send them your propeller, and they will custom cut. I've done that before. They will custom cut it to exactly the propeller you have. But this is a good starting spot here.
Right.
Usually,
Yeah.
once you get this cut in, obviously you have to be very careful to get your measurements right.
Yeah.
But once you get this cut out, it's usually a very small amount that you have to change. Most propellers will go in here, but there are some weird propellers.
Well,
Yeah.
what I ran up against, this is a Turnigy, and it's got a huge hub.
Yeah.
A large hub, and it's a beautiful prop, and it's well balanced, but it is a huge hub. But
Do you know how to lay that out to get it right?
I can do it, but it just takes forever.
Take a piece of paper, and if you got a 2-inch spinner, draw around the outside of the spinner so you got a 2-inch circle. Then you
Okay.
center, then lay your prop on it, on that center, then trace around the prop, then set the spinner back down, and then put the marks on the spinner with like a felt tip pen where
Right.
you got to be. And you measure up how high you have to be and make a mark. And you just start real slow cutting that out. I get them right all the time. You just have to
Go ahead.
go ahead.
Just have to be slow and easy. Sparky,
Right.
you ain't right. You can do stuff that nobody else can do.
Oh, yeah.
You and Tom Looper just ain't right. But
Peter.
I tell you what, he is very talented. No joke. I appreciate that, and I will try. I'm gonna do that. But this one is coming. I just wondered if there's a faster way to do it. because this has consumed about 4 hours so far, and I'm not finished yet.
Do you know what a mold pin? It's for household molding. You can go to the store, and it has a bunch of pins in it. Just
Yeah.
set
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
A contour gauge.
Yeah, that's it.
Set it down over the prop, but make sure that you index it with that circle. Set it down over the prop, then trace it on the spinner, and then cut to the inside of the line, and then file it. So it's perfect.
You know what? I'm embarrassed to say it. I have one of those full things, and I did not think about that. I will do that tomorrow, Sparky. Thank you.
You know, that's how I've been doing it, Phil. I've been waiting to get a chance to put it, but that's how I do it. I use a contour gauge, and then
I have one and never thought about that.
Then I trace on a piece of paper, and I put that paper against the airflow of the prop, so I can get to make sure it's perfectly right. And then I lay that on the spinner, and I draw it, and then I cut it out, and it lays right.
I'll do that. I'll do that. Thank you. Good idea. I don't know why I didn't think of that. Every once in a while, I have a brain fart. I think this was one of them.
You know, I saw that on YouTube. I saw a YouTube video, and that's how it's probably an RC guy, but that's where I got the idea from. And he shows it's a really good 15-minute video, and he shows you using contour gauge and a piece of paper and hold it against the spinner and draw it out.
Good idea. Good idea.
Well,
Sparky could do it, and it looked like something Trayan did, and Trayan does it, and it really is a work of art. What you got, Trayan?
The motor, right?
Yeah.
You see on the back of it, you have those drill and tap holes.
Yeah, that's where you rear mount it.
Yeah. So what you do, you just put this on, like that, and you have the holes through here. You see them?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they line up. You just bolt it in, and you're just the other way around. And I never use this thing, but looks like it has a very neat. It looks like you tighten up
locking
from here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has a locking, kind of locking washer, something like that.
Neat.
Oh, it's got a compression fitting on that last nut.
Yep, yeah, it does.
How about that? And I like the front mounts better. I've never cared for the rear mounts.
Yeah,
I started out with a rear mount, but I like the front mounts better.
Well, the front mount offers a lot of advantages.
Yeah, you kind of balance it out front to back. So
yeah.
So, but if you back mounting like this, you have all the weight from the front.
Yeah.
This is pushing down the prop. Everything in front of it. It just kind of puts a lot more pressure, extra pressure on the bearing. But
yeah. A lot more wear on the bearings. That's a beautiful motor, though.
Yeah. And look what they did. Do you see that? The cooling that it comes from here?
Yeah.
Because they recessed to make the front a little bit smaller.
Well, I tell you what, when I can get one, I'm going to get a couple of those. I've got an SV11. I want to put one of those in.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cooling formula I've always heard is that whatever area you have going in, you need 2 to 3 times that going out.
3 times.
And this is
3 times. 3 times is common, but no less than 1.5 times.
So this is what comes in the hardware package. You have the little screws with this adapter in one box, and in the other box you have some attachments
and the X-Brace.
And the X-Brace.
Cool.
But this one
you have to buy that extra, don't you?
The ball pattern over here is the same one as the Axie motors, and most of them. It's like when you have the 25 millimeters on a square ball circle.
Okay. So you don't need to buy that extra. You can get that local.
Yeah. And if you have a plane that has an Axie on it or something like that, just take the bolts out, put this one in, back in business.
Sound like a winner. Well, so, I hope they start shipping them again soon.
Yeah.
Well,
so
Trey,
we have. Go ahead.
I have a question for you. If you're doing a front mount, I'll try to get it close where you can see it.
There you go.
You were telling me about, because I had a lot of trouble with front mounts with them breaking off. And I was using, circuit board and that kind of stuff. it didn't seem to take much. Of course, I didn't have much, you know, it was rounded up to a spinner. There wasn't a lot of area to glue anything to. So you were telling me about the bracing. So what you're saying on the bracing is that you're going to have like a triangle stock like this.
I cannot see it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, like that.
Okay. Except the grain is not going to run vertical, you know, like a piece of triangle stock. You're saying that grain has to run horizontal? That's what I would think.
Let me see.
See,
Yeah, in the direction of the diagonal.
Yes.
Because all the stress is going in that direction, Jim.
Yes,
Okay.
right.
So
it's
if you
just
use
like
balsa,
it's just like you know, a truss up in your roof. You know, when they put those little pieces in there, they run 90 degrees to the other part. So, and that's for weight bearing. So
no, yeah, if you use balsa wood, I think I would go with the grain in that direction. Now, if you use wood, some hardwood or something like that, that thing is so hard, it doesn't matter where the grain goes.
Right.
So
yeah, I've got some basswood I could use.
Sure.
Now, to get more room, like on the Joker, if you front mount it, how much space do you actually leave around the front of the motor? You know, it's going to stick through your mount, and then you're going to have a hole, you know, because the most motors get narrower in the front. So you have to have a hole for that to go through usually. I don't know about the Joker on that one just yet, but normally you have to have a center hole, and that hole, like on my current plane, that's a big hole, and I don't think you want it to be big because it's going to lessen the area, I think. I mean, I have parts of my front that are so small that it's going to be hard to brace, and so I'm still a little concerned about it, but I mean, I've seen it work on a lot of planes, and it offers a big advantage in that you get rid of that bulkhead.
Okay.
And your
show me the picture again, Jim.
Okay.
Just a second. Hang on.
Yeah. Do you see how you put the brace on a wing side?
Yeah.
You actually put it on the opposite side. You have a lot more room on the opposite side in the front, and that ring in the front is never close to the spinner. That ring in the front, it's about 3/4 of an inch to backwards from the front of the from the nose.
Okay.
Surface, because by the time you put some kind of an adapter or something like that kind of slides back and forth a little bit, you have you need a little bit of room in there. So you never mount it like that all the way to the front. Now you have lots of room to put in the front side, because over there you have just the 4 screws that hold the motor in place. There's nothing in the way.
I'm not quite following. Are you saying that instead of putting the brace here, let's see if I can get a pin in there, on the inside of the fuselage, you're talking about putting it into the front? In front
because you have lots of space in there. Yeah.
Jim.
Okay.
Jim, think about it this way. Draw another bulkhead 3/4 of an inch back from what you've got drawn is the front of your airplane, because what you've got drawn there is where your spinner goes. All right, come back 3/4 of an inch and put a bulkhead in. Then put that brace on the spinner side of that bulkhead.
Okay.
Well, that'll give it to you. Then you've got 3/4 of an inch between the bulkhead that the motor hooks to the back of and the front of the plane, and that's where your adapter is going to go. The prop driver is going to go. Then your spinner goes on the front of that and comes right 1/16 of an inch from the front of your airplane. It'll work fine.
Well, let me take a break here, and I'll go grab my plane, and maybe I can get another opinion. All right. So I'll be back in a second.
Do you see this, Jim?
Look at this, Jim. There you go.
Okay.
Let me click on. Hang on, try it. There you go.
I'm busily drawing. I can't see it, Trayan.
You can't see it?
Well,
No,
he's not.
it's small.
You're on the screen.
Let me get the
Train's
marker.
small.
Let's get.
Train-
Let me
No,
get
there
the
you go.
marker.
I got it
Train,
now.
you're right. You're
Now.
right.
Try it
Train's
now.
right. It's just you can't see it. Make him big. Make Train big.
He is big.
No,
Only on
not
yours.
here.
Screen.
Big for
Not
you,
here.
but he ain't big for anybody else.
He should be. Let me make him big again.
Tran just needs to talk.
You had him for a second.
Here you go. You see now?
There you go.
Okay. If we can keep you on there. All right. So I'm gonna run
Yeah.
like this. Yeah.
Click on him and he'll open up.
Oh, all right.
I clicked on him already, Marky. He's big for me.
Okay, he's big for me now. I got it figured out.
You see now?
Okay. Yep, I can see it now. And so
And-
that's how we do the front mount.
And on the top and the bottom, you can also do this.
Okay, put a piece
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Okay.
But because, here you go. Because your motor is like this, and your block is kind of like that, you can probably sneak it something like this if you look from the back side on the
Yeah.
motor side,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So you do that. And another thing is that you want almost all the cooling to go through the core of the motor.
Okay. So
Okay.
you don't want
You don't give a rat's ass about cooling the outside of it.
right.
Okay.
Right.
So I'm thinking something like this. Give me a second. Some kind of this shape, right?
Uh-huh. Right.
And your actually windows for the motor are something like this over here. So you see the 3 windows?
Yep.
Okay. And you kind of want to direct the air through the windows.
Through those windows. Okay. I got you.
Something like that.
Air through windows.
And
Okay.
and because the rest of it is kind of sealed, there's only one way for the air to go through, and it's through these 3 windows,
Right. Which is what you want.
which will drive it right into the core of the motor.
Okay.
But that being said, the motor is very powerful. It's very strong. It does not get hot.
No,
Yeah.
I know that. Well, that's a much stronger setup because where we were trying to mount it, we had a firewall that, let's see if I can see it. I'm little right now. Let me make myself big.
Hang on.
Mhm.
I was typing on the chat. Hang on a second.
All right, I got myself big now.
Maybe
Okay. So what we were doing is this was the circuit board material,
Mhm.
and then we were mounting the screws right into this, and it
Mhm.
just didn't have any strength at all. And there was, the spinner is right here, 32nd of an inch or as close as you can get it without it rubbing.
Mhm.
And then, you'd have a little bit of space for something like that, but not much. Because you're going all the way down to the diameter of the spinner. The way you do it's much better. One, it's further back, so you have more leverage, and with the extra, you got plenty of room for the bracing as well. So that's good.
Okay.
All right. Well, let me take a break and I'll get my plane and I'll see if I can show you.
All right.
Okay.
Now I gotta rip some stuff out again. I already ripped the front mount out once.
That's part of building, isn't it, Jen? That happens all the time.
That's how you learn to rebuild.
Hey, Sparky, you there, Sparky?
Yeah.
Minnesota Mike says he can't log into Stunt Hangar.
What did he do? Forget his username and password or what?
He says the password he got, they gave him when he reset it, it wouldn't allow him to get into it.
Yep. So
What's his username?
Minnesota Mike, go respond.
Hey guys, I've got to go. I didn't get much sleep last night, so I'm
All
gonna.
right, John. And
You guys have a good one. Catch you
John,
all
take care of
Monday.
yourself.
Okay.
Catch you Monday, brother. You take care of yourself.
Thank you. You too.
John,
Mhm.
take
Good
care
night,
of that
John.
wrist, John. We'll talk to you later.
Okay.
Yep. Hi, John.
Train, you going flying in the morning?
yeah, I want to. No, not tomorrow. I have fence fixing.
Oh, fence fixing.
Mhm.
I had to do that one day this week myself. Bad deal. Too much work.
This
I'm finally going to get to fly the new one and see if it works, and then try to fly the rebuilt Nobler and see if it works.
Cool.
Well, we'll see. I hope. I've used some of the things you showed me to rework the front of the Nobler, and got the holes in the spinner, and the back plate is cut like a fan unit, so it should be much better now.
You guys
Yeah,
seeing what Jim is showing us, you guys?
Yeah.
All
yeah,
right.
yeah, Jim. That's a rear mount, right?
Yes, this is a rear mount. Let me get the right place. All right, here it is right here. And so what we did is we just have a couple of braces, you know, right in this area here. That's the rear mount, and it's the circuit board, and it slides in this slot, and then you know, it's not a lot of extra weight, but it's not as good, because what it looks like from this direction. See if I can get it up the nose. Okay, you see what that looks like?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah, you
I've
see,
never
you are blocking all the air that goes through the core of the motor like that.
That's what I was going to say. There's
Yeah,
no room
it's
for the air to
going
get out.
around the motor. It's not going through the motor. So that's good. I figured that out now. So now I got to rip this out, and then I'll put that new one in. And what we actually did is, up here in the front, this used to be a big old thick, this nose ring up here. You can still see the holes that were drilled in it. That is, we were just mounting directly to that. And that just,
back.
yeah, that just doesn't work, you know?
Yeah.
So, okay, that's good.
But Jim, you have the plywood doublers, as I see them over there, right?
Yes.
You can dig in all the way down to the plywood doubler, so you have two flat surfaces.
Yep.
And slide your hard points in there, glue it in, and call it a day.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'll just, well, the area, yeah, I could dig into that probably, and just put it right up against the fuselage side, because there's the fuselage side there.
Yeah, and that's it. You're done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jeez, and I did all that work so I could put my little rocket tube in there to run my wires in.
That's a nice installation. That's nice and neat.
Yeah, it works. It works good, but the front mount is better because it just allows a lot more room up there.
Yeah.
And I think I showed you guys this before, but I'll show you again. This is one of the coolest battery installations. I don't have my cowl on here, but it's quite a large cowl. It has a lot of opening. So I have, you can see the two openings in the bottom there. Right. On the top, this is a top mount. It has a little pin up here in the front. You can see the hole?
Yeah.
And the pin goes in there. And I got to put some smaller magnets in because it's magnetized so good I can't get it out. So I have to have a dowel to run up through the hole to push the thing out.
Wow, that is a strong magnet.
Jim.
Yeah.
Jim, you know what you want to do? Take the magnets out and recess them down a little bit.
Yeah, I could do that. I can make them a little deeper, or I have some thinner ones as well. So I don't know which way I'll go.
when you put magnet over magnet, they're very, very strong.
Oh my God, that's what this is, and they are incredibly strong.
Let me
Put,
jump in here for a
put it
second.
over steel or something like
Yeah,
that.
let Sparky cut in here.
Minnesota Mike is not even registered on Stunthangar. That username does not exist. So,
Hey, Sparky, try Mike Holland.
Mike, what?
Mike Holland, HOLEN.
Okay.
Okay. See if I can get it.
Jim looks
What
very
plane
angry
is
now.
that, Jim?
Yes,
I
yes, I am.
You,
I keep having to
you're like that.
airplane. I told you you can see a little flashing over here. My brother-in-law, he's 86.
Excuse
He
me.
accidentally lost his
Yeah,
balance and
go ahead, Sparky.
broke the wing all up.
Mike
And-
Holland.
But this is what I wanted to show you.
Hello.
Hold
Hang
on,
on,
Jim.
Jim.
Hold on, Jim. Let Sparky talk.
All right.
Minnesota Mike. Okay, I'm going to reset his password. Is he still Minnesota Mike 01 at gmail.com?
As far as I know, that's his email.
Okay, actions. Let's see. Delete this account. Paid prescription. No. Modify profile. Account settings. Go there. Let's see. Password. Okay. I'm going to send him a new password. It'll go to his inbox.
Give him something easy.
Yeah.
I got a passcode generator over here. Every one's not hard.
God,
Those things are brutal.
I got into something today, and the thing was 28 letters long, and all kinds of weirdness. I said, just give me something I can understand. That's not it.
It's good for a nuclear silos or something like that.
Yeah, really.
Well, thanks, Sparky. I asked him, did you hear Sparky? And I put a question mark, waiting for him to respond. So go ahead, Jim, and
Okay.
go ahead and talk.
This is something I saw from a guy in Canada that came down to visit and fly with us. He's on the world team. And he uses two, you can make them carbon or you can make them fiberglass, whatever you want.
Oh, man.
But he has two rails. And what I did to lock them in, I'll add a little extra piece right here so that it has a little extra stop on it right here.
Right.
And it has one screw right there.
Right.
And one screw back here. And
Jim, get the camera lower, please.
What's that?
Lower the camera a little bit. So
You want you to lower the camera.
Yeah, I just slapped it back up there.
There you go.
Okay. All right. So you can loosen this little screw, and it's a split piece.
Mm-hmm.
And so you just loosen it up, and both of these will slide back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
And then this just goes into two holes in the next former back. And then I have this piece up here in the front, and this has a matching piece inside the fuselage, and it has two screws. And so you can do these two screws, and you can actually take this whole mount out of the airplane right through the top hatch, so that
What does it do?
it allows you to adjust your center of gravity with the battery.
Oh, I see.
See?
So those two things capture the battery, Jim, and then they move together back
Yeah,
and forth, right?
I mean, all he used was a piece of Velcro. He didn't have it. He didn't even have a stop. And he said, "No, it never moves." I'm not quite as trusting.
Oh, that's a front to back setting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I see.
Yeah, that's all it is. And it goes down. Goes right down here.
Right.
Right in this area right here is where this front piece goes.
Is keyed into that part, right?
Yes, it's keyed into that, and the 2 screws go in, and then these just go into the back, into 2 holes in the back, and they barely stick through, so that you just have to loosen these, raise it up just a hair, and then you can slide this right out.
Wow.
And it also gives you access to all the plates you see way down in there. That's for your ESC to mount on. So
yeah, that's a neat idea, Jim. But I think it's more complex, and it doesn't need to be so complex. You know.
yeah, but like I say, his was even simpler. He didn't. They weren't
Okay.
removable, and he didn't have any sliding stops. He just used one piece of Velcro. Not
No,
even
yeah,
two.
I get it. Yeah, I get it. But for the whole the assembly that you hold in your hand, all you need is just 2 holes on the back, 2 holes in the front, right? And right, and a plate.
Yeah, and that way you can. Well, I can probably do that with a front mount. With a rear mount, this is where the former is for the motor, right here.
Oh, I get it.
Okay, so there's not really a good way to reach in there and get those out.
Yeah, I have some. Yeah.
Get the tubes to slide. So,
yeah, but all you need is this. Hang on.
Hey, Ed and Tom. Welcome.
Thank you.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Ed, look at there.
So you make this and just glue it in there between the former somewhere on the bottom. Right? And after that, on top of it, you can get something like this. Put a blind nut on it. And you have a screw from the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so the lower piece, you have like a screw that goes through. The top one has a blind nut.
Yeah.
And the 2 tubes can be floating back and forth as far as you want to.
Yes, right.
And it's simple. You don't have to tie it into anything. You can put this anywhere. Somewhere around the nose.
Right.
Front mount, back mount, doesn't even matter because it's just this. And actually the top one, you don't even need that stuff. See those corners, you don't need them.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, it's just so many ways of doing the same thing. It's like, yeah.
That's good though. That's a little lighter. I'm always. I'm good. I'm good with lighter.
Yeah. So yeah.
Hey, Jim's got a friend in the background. Who's that cat?
That's Mr. Whiskers.
Mr. Whiskers.
Yeah, he'll be up here in our face in a minute.
Yeah, I got Parker and Piper.
What I have on mine, it's this. I have some rails.
That's called a flux capacitor.
I have some L-shaped rails on the corners, and my battery just slides in there. But you can also make a couple of L-shaped corners and drop the battery on top of them, and you only need 2 of them on the bottom.
Right.
And now you can slide them forward or back if you want to. Same thing as with the tubes, but being an L shape, now you can put the Velcro in immediate underneath it and just like tighten top. Done deal.
Right. Yeah, that's a good idea.
And because the round tubes, it's kind of hard to locate your battery sideways, right?
Not really. We put it in sideways, so it goes well across. It's inside the fuselage sides, but it spans those fairly good.
So you have so you have the fuselage sides that are close to the battery. Now, what I would do, I would move the battery from this position to this position, so now I have air going around it. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
If you put like this and the fuselage sides are very close to it, you have no airflow here.
Yeah,
right?
It'll actually fit either way. You
Yeah.
know.
That's why I said, so I saw they have a lot of space in here. So instead of going like this close to the fuselage sides like this, okay,
Yep.
you have no airflow. It's probably better to put like this and not have air going everywhere, on top, bottom, everywhere around the battery, right?
Right.
And if you have the L-shaped brackets on the bottom, the battery just drops in.
Yeah, you just make it come out to where the battery goes right in there.
Exactly. So you have a Velcro that goes all the way around it like this.
Yep.
And when you change the battery, you just take the Velcro, open it, right? Battery
Yep.
comes straight up. When you want to put the next one in, just drop it in, put the Velcro back in, done deal.
And
Simple.
then it still allows you to slide the battery forwards and backwards, which is what you want.
Yeah.
Okay.
But now if you have the L shape, now you need the flat piece of wood on the bottom, right? With a little blade of something, a piece of plywood with a blind nut on top, and you can just single screw, and you can get the whole rails in and out, whatever.
Right.
Simple.
Right. Yeah, that sounds good. It's a good idea.
There's so many ideas out there. I mean, just like probably if we ask everybody else, you're gonna find another 10 ideas.
I can tell you what my idea is, but nobody wants to hear it.
No.
I just glue my battery in. I stick it in like this, and then I drop some CA on it, and we're done.
That's kind of how I do mine, Sparky. My batteries are usually tin with copper tube.
The kitty doesn't get any attention right now. She's flicking her tail. She's not very happy.
Come on.
So I flew a free flight yesterday that's got an old K&B Greenhead 19.
Right on.
That engine's got the exhaust on the opposite side.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just
K&B was a little strange.
I mean, if you put it in a profile and had it, on the side to the outside, the exhaust would be shooting up.
You were flying in the time that it was designed. They flew the other way.
Oh,
is that why they're like that? Okay.
Hadn't thought about that. He's right.
I always thought so bizarre, right in my face.
My dad's got an old K&B Stallion that's got such a bad rod knock that the thing rattles like crazy. You can hear the rod knock over the exhaust.
Wow.
And he's been flying it like that for 20 years.
Wow.
And it still runs.
See, I wouldn't even be running it if it was making that noise.
Oh no, this thing rattles like crazy. It sounds like nuts and bolts in a coffee can. And he flies it on a shoestring. He's been doing it for 20 years. Flies it on 25% caster, 5% nitro all the time.
I have one of mine not like that. I go taking the head off and build it, making myself a new head gasket. Turn that thing down a little, turn the compression down a little bit because it's eating the rod up, knocking like that.
My dad's just waiting for this thing to die. He's got about 80 engines.
Oh, well.
Now, he just runs it to see how long it'll last. So far, it's been 20 years.
Well, Stallion was made out of pot metal, so it wouldn't matter if it was had no compression. The metal was terrible.
Well, I think it's a horrible engine. I have a Stallion for my Lark, and it's not the greatest engine in the world. But it works.
Mm-hmm.
Not super good, but it works.
And pardon me, you guys, Sparky?
Yeah.
Minnesota Mike said he did get the email with the new password. It didn't work.
Well,
he said he'll figure it out, but I don't know how he's going to figure it out.
Yeah. There's something on his end that's not letting him in.
Oh, you know what? He's up there near the fire. He's been hauling animals out of the mountains, so he's tired. And so maybe he'll get back to us. But he's anyways, that's what he wrote.
Yeah. Well, I'm not there, so I can't fix what's on his end.
Well, at least he has your email. Maybe he can communicate to you, and he can figure it out with you later on when
Yeah.
it's convenient and he's not so busy hauling animals out of harm's way.
Hey, Sparky.
Yeah.
When you finally set your tank, do you actually glue it in, or do you just block it in with shims?
I set it in there. I put a piece of 1/4 inch across from side to side, and then 2 drops of CA on it. And then when you want to take it out, you just put some pliers on that piece of balsa and twist, and breaks it out. Take the tank out.
That way, if you have to shim it, you can just pop out the little braces.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you ever find a need to shim it up or down?
Sometimes I try to set things up the correct way before, this is all part of bench trimming. You take a ruler and you measure up from the bottom of the the engine bearer. This one here happens to be 7/8 of an inch, so then you measure up from the engine bearer to your pickup line. It should be 7/8 of an inch. Trim it up or down, and that's usually pretty damn close.
Well, that's where I set my Foxes. Are all set at a 1/2 inch, so I should be right in the ballpark. But then again, I am powering with tip weight, so.
I just noticed something. I lost my damn needle valve. Well, I got more somewhere.
Sparky, have you give up on electric?
I built 5 purpose-built electric airplanes because they delivered a lot of power, and after flying them, I'm done with them. They don't deliver power when you need them.
You used to a 2/4 brake.
No, I don't run a 2/4 brake. I run a solid engine speed.
Maybe that's why.
Yeah, that's why what?
You didn't use those active timers that actually change the motor run.
I gave up on electric when I had to use a computer to set up the damn speed control.
They didn't have those timers when I built those airplanes. And I'm not going to spend more money on that stuff. I'm just going to stay with what I got. I got a whole pile of engines up there. I even got, I still have some batteries left. I have a battery here. This is the batteries I used to use. I used to use these G8 25C Thunder Power batteries.
I think it looks like it would start my wife's car.
1, 2, 3, 5 cell. Another thing
those are good, yeah.
Another thing I don't like about electric is saying, "Hey, let's go flying." Oh, wait a minute, I got to charge the battery. When I can say, "Okay, let's go."
I've seen motorcycle batteries smaller than that.
Yeah, it's like, what can I say? Just there are pluses and minuses on everything, right? You have advantages and disadvantages on every system. So if you know how to work a system and you are very good at it, just more power to you, use it. And if something that you really like, and there are a lot of people that say, I will never fly electric because they just love the noise and they love the the stuff, which is fine. I mean, just nothing wrong with it.
Me personally, I like to smell.
When you can use these to power your electric planes, and then maybe we'll go for it.
That's your motorcycle battery, Peter? Oh,
drill battery.
That's for your powered tool, your driver, or your drill.
But like I said, at the Georgia contest, there's only one good motor run that I see. One person had 2 flights with 2 good motor runs on the same plane. Just one person.
And that was a new airplane, though, wasn't it? Though.
I don't know if it was new or not. I think it was a Cavalier.
I mean, I thought it was a new.
Yeah, John Simpson.
John Simpson.
John
yeah.
Simpson's Cavalier.
Yeah.
Ran like a turbine both runs, but that was one guy. There was 20-some guys there.
Yes.
One guy didn't have any problems.
And then there was a couple of guys that were flying electric, and I don't think they had the problems either.
No.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
all.
I don't have any problems at all.
Yeah.
I like them
if you look
both.
at the price of a 60 size Stalker, right? And the price of initial price of a setup for an electric plane, you kind of break even, right?
Yeah.
Because
there's not much difference.
It's
I
about
have both, and
$360 for a Stalker, right?
Yeah.
And I can get a nice charger, a quad charger with the four stations. You can charge 4 batteries at a time, and 3-4 batteries for when it come on sale. The motor ESC for about the same money. But the thing is, after that you don't need batteries. You have to replace them. But if you take care of them, you don't need to buy a whole lot of batteries. And
that's an Aero Tiger. Yep,
that's right.
And everything else you can swap it over. I mean, if you want to. I mean, you can take the timer from one plane, put it on the next one. Take the ESC from one plane, put it on the other one. Especially if you make allowances for them to take them easily in and out. Most of them have plugs of some sort, So ESC just they have some kind of Velcro, yank it out, take the plugs off, or you can put it back into the next plane if you're really cheap, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But and you can also, for me, yes, the disadvantage of flying electric, yes, you need a little bit of planning in advance, right? So if somebody would tell me to go fly this second, leave the house right now, I'll probably need about half an hour. Time in which you need to load up the car, put the plane inside and stuff like that. You need to do that in 15-20 minutes anyways, right? So another 10 minutes or so, you have the batteries charged. Now as I get to the flying field, I set my charger on a side, right? And I take my charged batteries with me, the 4 batteries that I have charged. And if I have like more batteries with me, I just put them on charger right away. And then we only need 4 batteries maximum, right? At least for me, it works like that. So what I'm doing,
that's what I use.
I'm flying and I'm charging the other ones. And when I'm done flying, I remove the battery. I walk to the charger, plug it in, get it started, remove another battery, go back to the plane, load it up. I'm ready to go.
At Apollo 11.
What engine is that, Sparky?
What?
What engine is that? I don't recognize that.
It's a 68. A Discovery.
Okay.
Discovery. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't recognize it.
Is that for you, Sparky?
Yeah, these are all mine.
Is that what you're going to put in your new plane, or?
No, I'm using the PA in that.
I want to know where it keeps coming up with Aero Tigers. Doggone it, I can't find one.
You want to buy one?
Yeah, I would like to buy one.
Yeah.
Give me for it.
That's a fine running motor, that Aero Tiger.
Yeah, it is. I own one, but I made the mistake of letting some people come in my basement. It may still be down there, but I cannot find it, and I have the plane ready to go. So I guess I'm going to have to buy another motor.
What do you give me for it? This is an Aero Tiger, and it's number 142.
What do you want for it, Sparky?
I don't know.
You figure it out and let me know. Just figure it out and let me know what you want for it. Because I've got a Cavalier downstairs that's ready to fly. But I can't find the motor.
Yeah, I have a Thunder Tiger 45, which is Thunder Tiger 45 from Randy.
That's a good motor too. I don't have a plane for that. Oof.
I didn't know how to run it, and I float on an Oriental, on a 40 size Oriental, and yeah,
that was a lot of motor for an Oriental.
yeah. Like
I said, I'm running the OS 32F, and all those helicopter engines are interchangeable.
Yeah, I have one of those too on my. It's supposed to go on my Humbug, but I've never. I have not finished it yet. It's hanging downstairs. I could bend the landing gear for it and go fly it, but
if you have that motor, it'll fit into your Cavalier without changing anything.
Do you guys know about, there was a plane that was looking like the Humbug, but was a half-A plane? Well, looking a little bit weird because the nose was super long on that plane. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
I've seen it, but I don't know what it's called.
That wasn't a Viper, was it?
I don't know.
Might have been a Hyper Viper. It might have been it. I can't remember. Somebody, I think Rusty had one.
Rusty had a Hyper Viper that he bought. It was a CNC wood carved plane. And I have a Hyper Viper that was a Cox plastic special with a foam wing.
I can't remember. I
think I know. For a plastic plane.
Yeah.
It wasn't a plastic plane. This was a balsa.
No, the one I remember was
balsa
wooden.
built-up wing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look,
in fact, it had a pretty thick wing. Had about 1.25 inches and 1.8 inches thick wing.
It was just like the Humbug. I mean, it had those horizontal tails with a big horizontal stabilizer, no flaps, and man, I flew it one day. I just really like the plane.
Was that an airplane?
It's a half-A plane.
I know, but that design you're talking about, I think, is a Netzaban airplane.
Yeah, Netspan and Netspan designed the original, and then Bob Barron modified it for the one that he did, and then he did another one, the 60 size, that looked a lot like a Pattern Master, except it was still a Humbug, but it was a 60 size. But the half-A that Tran's talking about is not called a Humbug, I don't think. I've seen one of them, and it seems like I saw it in Atlanta, but I can't remember what it was called. But I'll sure try to find out. I know who was there with me, and he will probably know. Tom Dixon, he'll probably know. Might call him tomorrow and see if he can remember.
Huh. Hey, Sparky.
Tom, don't forget much.
What?
Mike, Minnesota Mike says, thanks. He'll try again tomorrow. If he can't get in here, we'll contact you.
Okay. And if he can't get, I mean, I can only do so much on my end. I could change his password. That's it.
Yeah.
Right.
Sparky.
Yeah, he'll try again tomorrow, so we'll see what happens.
Sparky, when you figure out what you want for that thing, let me know. Let Tom Looper know and ask him to tell me. He can give you my phone number. He knows it.
Yeah. Bill, finish the clown and fly the clown.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious. I mean, it's like there's one thing that the planes most planes have in common. As they get bigger and bigger, they stay on the line better. They fly better. It's just easier to fly. Simply, it's just they're easier to fly. No, it's no question about it. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think your clown is gonna be perhaps your easiest plane to fly to date of everything that you have that I know of.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously.
The bigger they get, seems like the easier they are to fly. That's no joke.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Sparky, is that the same plane you were working on, that El Rabe one?
No.
You got the El Rabe one done already?
No.
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 What happened to the 60 Tucker?
Sitting right there. I gotta paint it.
Mhm.
It's in white. It needs the trim on it.
You still doing a Dr. Pepper paint job on it?
Yep.
Awesome. I can't wait to see that. That's going to be awesome.
I want to see that too.
Dr. Pepper paint job.
Yeah.
Oh, just have like a can of Dr. Pepper.
Kinda.
Red with a. Go ahead.
With the logo.
Yep.
So what is this airplane?
It's going to be a Continental XL.
Oh, okay.
Remember my
Is this-
Continental? I
Yeah.
told Tim Redmond.
Yeah.
Well, it had a geobolt wing in it, and this one's going to have the wing I'm using. It's more in line to the right shape, and I'm going to do all the big fillets at the leading edge and all that stuff.
Is that the Tom Warden Continental?
The one I have a Tom Warden Continental at home. That's to the original numbers.
Okay. That's the red, white, and blue one.
Yeah.
That's a
Beautiful
beautiful
airplane.
Were you just doing this one to do it, or you're not thinking you're gonna like your last airplane that you haven't painted yet?
There's nothing for me to do here, so I built the airplane. Remove film from me. Chicken.
He's building it out of lack of ability to relax.
I started to say I don't think the man knows how to relax, because he works more than anybody I know. You're back working your regular job, aren't you, Sparky?
Yep.
And then come home and build airplanes all day. I mean, all day. Lord.
There's nothing else to do. What am I gonna do? I gotta be productive.
What you got there, Peter? What are you showing? You had two motors up.
No. I'm not showing. I'm just looking. It's like I got my collection of SR motors, 40 SR ABC, and then two 45 SR ABC.
Okay.
Which are basically the import version of the
40 VF.
Yep. Or the 45 VF.
Yeah, they put out the same power according to the specs.
You take
And
that
Randy's
motor.
got my VF. What is that? He's got my VF 46.
You take
I
one
have
of
a
those
46
motors.
VF.
That's a great motor. That's a really good running motor.
I have a. What do I have? I have a Roja 65, PA 60. I have a Magnum 45, Randy Smith. No, Thunder Power. Thunder Power 45.
Yeah.
I think I have a Norvell 061.
Yeah, that's a fun engine.
40 FP. A 40 FP.
Yeah, that's
And
a great motor too.
yeah. You know, I was super impressed with one guy that was flying a Twister with a 40 FP on it. He put an APC 11.5 on it, and all he did just put fuel and start the motor, and the motor will run just perfectly. One of the very few planes that I saw with a good motor run.
Was it green?
Size. I'm sorry?
Was it green?
Green what?
The airplane, was it green?
Blue.
Blue.
The guy was from Chicago area. His name was John.
John Garrett.
Yep.
Oh yeah, he does fly well.
Yep. I remember I used to go over there on in Schaumburg at their flying field, and everybody would go like, "Hey, did you bring anything to fly with you?" And nah, I didn't bring. Yeah. And he said, "You wanna fly?" I said, "Yeah, sure." I said, "Go grab the handle." So I grabbed the handle. He would start the motor for me. I would just fly the plane. And then he was looking at me. It's like, You just grab my plane and just flew it and put the best flight the plane has ever seen. Cold turkey, it just didn't even know the plane. And
Nice.
just yeah, and I got they said several times over there. And my first contest in Chicago area, I was flying intermediate with a Intrepid SV12
Oh Lord.
with a 46 VF on it, tune pipe and the works, right?
Uh,
And and so he at the contest before the contest started, and he said, what you gonna fly?" He's gonna fly. I said, "I'm just gonna fly intermediate because that was my second contest in the US or something like that. First one was a beginner, and that was it for me. I moved up to the intermediate after that, and I was in Chicago area, and so he said, "Good, stay over there." He goes like, "Good, stay over there. Don't come here." And
oh Lordy.
yeah, so I flew that contest, and I went to the SIG contest, and there was another one in another Peoria, but was this was another contest in Illinois, right close to somewhere between Rockford and St. Louis. There was a contest over there. I think it was a Peoria contest. Was
That's your wire flyer.
something. Anyways, so I flew that one over there. I did win every intermediate contest that I went to. I won SIG, and I won the Chicago, and I won the next one. And the next one I went to the Nats with it, and I won the Nats too. That was in 1996. First time that John Brodak started the beginner, the intermediate contest at the Nats on the grass circles over there.
Mm-hmm.
And I flew intermediate back then, and I won it. And after that, they pay my entry to go to fly advance over there at the Nats. and I flew advanced in the Nats, and I qualified. I made a top 5 my first shot over there.
Wow.
Very good.
Top 10. I think top 10. I was in top 10 back then.
Very good.
So yeah, so that was my adventure, and then I started to fly advanced at the local level as well, and I stayed in advanced like a few competitions, and I think I moved to expert pretty shortly after that. I don't think I stayed more than a year in advance.
You're in the big leagues now. You're in the open.
Oh shit! Yeah, I have to put up with you, Sparky.
Have to put up with Paul Walker and Bill Warwick.
Dave Fitzgerald.
Yeah, the big sharks.
You guys can fly, buddy.
Resties, yeah. They can fly.
Yeah, I am so freaking excited about the prospect of two of our fellow aviators, right? One of them is Alberto Solera from Italy, and another guy from New York. They are, just putting videos of the pattern and maneuvers and stuff like that. And I would love to see what kind of the difference you have from the actual scores that are being given to what the computer thinks that you deserve.
I think they just tested that at Flushing Meadows.
Yes, yeah, they put it together. Now they are just putting together some videos with it, and the next step would be to do like a best match or something like that. So they did the video tracing, and I was looking at I think I've watched all the video tracing flights, and I was like, oh my goodness! As I said, it's like you look at them, and for my life, I could not give Bob Hunt as the best flight of all.
Where did you see those at?
It's if you look in Stunt Hangar on the main page, it's the contest that they have in New York, and within the page from the contest, there's one page from one of the developers of the software that took the videos of the contest and he processed them and stuff like that. But if you want to, I can give you like a quick link to his page.
I want to see that contest.
Uh-huh.
So it's an open forum.
So
and it's NYCF.
Yeah, I got it.
That is my old stomping grounds. I love that.
Control Line Flyers. If you go on YouTube under Control Line Flyers, okay, that's
that's Facebook. I'm not going there.
It's not Facebook. It's YouTube. Here you go. Here you go, guys. I'm gonna give you the link here if you wanna watch it in a chat box. I'm gonna okay, paste, enter. All right. So if you wanna watch it, you can see the raw footage, and do yourself a favor. Look at the raw footage and try to do a judging on the pad, right?
Yeah,
and then look at the video tracing.
I'm looking for video link.
It's a video link to his YouTube main page, okay, and you have a lot of stuff here, and these are all the videos from the New York contest.
All right, great.
Yeah, you have Bob Hunt, William DeMar, Joe Daly, Tom Luciano, Jim Vigani, and looks like they have yeah, two flights on each one of them, and it was quite a bit, right? And then it shows you the same videos. That some of them are, you can see the same videos. Let me see. Bob Hunt number 1. They have the original, and look at the originals, right? And then look at the videos with the video tracing.
But Trey, and I thought I read something the other day. I think it's the same guys. They now are doing some kind of an algorithm where, because we fly in a hemisphere,
yes,
they're now doing the thing to compensate for the hemisphere. So what you see, after running it through, is actually what it compares to the actual AMA pattern. You can see how far the plane is going.
Yeah. So it does compare to the perfection and to the perfect maneuvers. And I was thinking, man, Bob. Yeah, I said, Bob looks like he makes like small loops, but if you look at the video tracing, he's flying a little bit big yet.
Yeah, a loop is quite small.
Exactly. So I when I saw Bob, he's doing his loops, and I said, without looking through the video tracing, I would say like, hey, it's flying. It looked like they're 45, but they're not. They're just a tiny bit bigger. Actually, about close to 50.
Who won the contest?
I think Bob. Yeah. Bob on it. I don't know who was second and stuff like that, but it was very, very interesting. And look through this channel here. I mean, lots of videos over there. Some without any sound, but I don't care for the sound. I mean, I want to watch and see what's, what do you see and what's the computer seeing. And when you look at the computer tracing, if you are a judge to see the tracing live and see the actual stuff, as a judge, you probably say,
Well, his square loop looked like a potato.
Exactly. Exactly. Some of them, you look at some of them, it's just barely recognizable as a square. It looks like mostly round with a.
From Igor Berger when he did the world champion, when he was world champ, and that pattern is difficult to fly and put it right where it's supposed to be. I mean, it's very difficult.
Bob had nice round loops, but his triangle looked like a rock.
Yeah, it's a very helpful training aid right there.
For a training tool, amazing. I don't think
Amazing. Yeah.
yeah, you cannot go wrong with that stuff, you know.
Yeah, between
'Cause
that and laying out the posts like the FAI or FAI, where
mhm,
you intersect the circle so that you have equal things, so you can size your maneuvers. At least you get
mhm.
the horizontal
I wonder
between poles,
if
and
this is
that
shape because it's the camera's in the wrong spot.
Right.
But actually, what he's gonna do in a competition for competition purposes, there will be two cameras. Okay, so he's gonna take information from both of them and overlap it to get you as good of a path for the plane as you can get it. Uh, and I
that's
think that that shouldn't be too hard to implement. You know, in a
they do it
contest
on other
environment.
things now. Some of
If
my Mac stuff does that stuff.
Yeah. So the what we used to do when I was flying the glider competition, they had the scoring board, the computers, everything was set up in big boxes, right? So wherever the competition was, they would just take the box and just ship it over there. And
Right.
the contest director would just break down the box, take the stuff out, set it up, and run the contest. When it was done, they'll just pack it back together, put the box on the side, and wherever the next contest will go, the box will just be shipped over there to the next place.
Hey, the judges could sit inside someplace air conditioned. Judge it after a flight.
They can set it home.
Or let
Yeah,
the
they can
system
sit
do
at
the job.
home. They could.
No, you just
That's
let the
like
system do the
Yeah,
job.
the
You know
system could do
why?
the judging.
I went
Yeah.
out. I went to the club, and I set this with a level and on a pole,
Right.
Mhm.
and then that's 45-degree angle.
Right.
See how steep that is? Everybody flies their loops at this.
Not true. I think everybody flies them way
Nobody
past that.
flies it at 4. If you look up there, I mean, everyone's loops there at the field was so much smaller. That's why they're
Are you?
oblong. They tried to spread them out, and they don't go very high with them. And
Uh,
everybody's was way off. And once we got this huge tree there, and we're like, all right, so everybody sat there and looked where 45 was on that big tree that sits back in there. It was about 5 foot above that damn tree that's 100 feet tall or whatever.
Mhm.
But okay, there's where the top of the loops are. Everyone went out there and tried to fly. I said, oh no, them are way too big. I said, you looked down that,
Right.
and you agreed that how high that was above there.
Right.
Let me ask
So
you.
when
Let
they
me ask you.
through it, they all said, oh, them loops are way too big.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Where was your triangle when everybody, or at your hand level?
The triangle was at eye hand level,
Hand level.
eye level. You know,
Okay. Good. Good.
but you'd raise your hand up. So that's why I was on a pole so we could lower it up and down for different people.
Be there in a few minutes.
But then if you look as a judge, and I'm being short, and somebody else is 6'5" judging standing up, their 45 is different.
Yep.
It's at a different point. Same thing with the guy out in the middle of the circle. They got Samantha's only 5'2".
Mhm.
When she looks up at a 45, it's the judges better be sitting down.
Well,
Well, yeah, but
45 degrees from level flight. So wherever when you come out of that reverse wing over and you set level flight,
Mhm.
that's the height, and from that height it's 45 degrees, not from the ground.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter who the pilot, how tall it is. It's where the plane is at. That's where from that
Mhm.
height up is 45 degrees.
Right.
I understand that most judges will interpret it as that per rules, although I think it's misinterpreted for the rules because the rules are built as like you make a machine part and you have tolerances on it, right? So you have a perfect shape, right? But you have to be within 2 feet from that. And the perfect shape is called the perfection. The perfect shape is called the perfection
Someone has a Stunt Hangar window open.
I don't know.
Is everybody doing it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear an echo when everybody talks.
There's an echo.
It's tough to understand.
Yeah, let me
Even
try.
though-
Let me try.
Yeah, well, I guess we're having to put up with an echo for a minute. But it's not, you got 2 foot on the height from level, but you don't have 2 foot from the sides.
It's everywhere. This they say within 2 feet from the original path, right?
If you're doing
So what's
square
within
8,
2 feet from a?
It's
I didn't know they give you on a square 8, they give you 2 feet either way.
But that's what the rules say, right? You have to be second path should be within 2 feet of the original one. I think that's pretty much typical on all the rules. So whenever they say like whenever you do
So
your
you don't even
wing over or your level flap,
intersections or whatever, then, huh? I never read that. I didn't realize that. I always scored and had Samantha fly your intersections in the same exact point. If they were off by 2 feet, I figured that was a really big markdown on that.
I think the rules say that the maneuvers have to overlap each other.
Yeah,
They do.
one layer
within
on
2
top of
feet.
the other.
Within 2 feet,
book.
right?
Yeah.
Within 2 feet?
I think so.
So basically, if you screw up the intersection the first time, you need to screw it up the second time.
That's it.
Which I think is bullshit, you know. I mean, if you make a mistake on the first one, why should you be forced to make a mistake on the second one? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, if you were within the 2 feet, you didn't make a mistake.
I can't find my rule book conveniently.
Well, all I know is I watch a lot of Rusty's, Sparky's video, and at the Nats. And if you watch Paul Walker and Derek Barry miss their wingovers.
By a long way.
Oh man, both of them. I told Samantha to watch it. I said, they used to give you crap because you miss your wing over by 6-7 inches, when we were at the World Championship. I'm like, them guys missed them by 2 foot.
Oh, here we go. Let me guess. Is that Peter?
Yeah.
Well, what are you looking for?
The rules on the maneuvers. Let's pick one maneuver so we can find out what it is. What maneuver you guys have a question about?
Let's see here. No, that's the handle. That's that. That's this. Hold on. No. It doesn't show any maneuvers in this. Hold on, wait a second. Where?
Yeah, they're coming, I think.
Yeah, they're coming.
Hey, keep going.
They got to cover all.
So that's page 12, and that's where it ends.
Oh, that's the general rule book. I think you got to go to the other one.
Hey, Jim?
Yeah.
Do you have a lot of bad luck?
What do you mean?
Don't you get like 10 years bad luck if a black cat crosses your path?
He's not black.
No, it's only 3.
See?
Kind of a short cat.
He's got white boots.
Oh, okay. So that takes care of that, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's bad luck anyway.
I was at a friend's house yesterday, and I'm sitting there and getting ready to leave. And I was standing outside, shit anyway. So, but I got the car door open. All of a sudden, this small cat, it had to be pretty young, maybe 6 months old, come up and would keep bumping me, and I'd pet it and all that kind of stuff. It just finally just went over and got in my car. I'm like,
wow.
Holy shit. So I'm like, come on, cat. You can't go with me. I'd take you home, but I know you belong to somebody around here. But talk about a friendly cat.
Hey, Tryon. Dorn.
Yeah.
I'm watching this tracings, and I would say that Joe Daly won that contest.
Yes, exactly my thoughts.
Okay, what maneuver you guys are interested in looking at? I have the book here, the one by Dave Cook, the
Yeah.
stunt book.
It'd be just general. If it
There
says
you go. Right there.
I read the one
Inside,
on
inside loops. Close, close. Come on, close.
Oh,
Well, I hope they implement this software because there is a big discrepancy between the winner and the actual. I'm looking at it here. Joe Daly's maneuvers are pretty close to right on top of each other.
And it's the only one who did it.
Right.
Okay, you guys, I got the rule book here, and it's showing that when you come down to level high, I'm talking about the inside loops. So it says consecutive inside loops 3. Correct loops are judged when the model starts from normal level flight and makes a series of 3 smooth round loops all in the same place with the bottoms of the loops at normal flight level and the tops of the loops at 45 degrees.
The elevation.
And then the model then continues for another half loop and it goes in inverted. Okay, so getting down to the problems here. It does say that the top, the 45 degrees, can be varied about 2 feet, but the bottom has to be the same bottom every time. So the 45 degrees is a variable of 2 feet.
But
I think it would be because your
also
bottom
look at
is
the
a
first
variable of
rules.
2 feet.
Yeah. Also look at the level flight that is being set. It's also within 2 feet.
Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't say in this book.
From 3.9 to and 5.9 feet. Okay.
No, that's when you're establishing your level flight between that range. But wherever your level flight is, that is constant for those 3 loops.
Which is 1.5 meters.
Well,
the way Art used to tell us to do when we went to the stunt school. When Art Adamson told us how to do it, he said, "You watch the guy take off and fly, and he's supposed to take off and then fly 5 level laps." He said when he on his second and third lap, he is establishing his level, whether that's 4 feet tall for somebody that's shorter, or 6 feet tall for somebody that's a lot taller, like Tom Morris or myself. What they fly when they do those 5 laps, that is their level. If they fly much lower than that, you count down. If they're much above that, you count down. Their level laps just after takeoff establish their level.
Right.
And if you will take off and fly it where you're looking down the lines and you're looking at the wingtip, then you'll get used to doing that very quickly, because I did. And you'll fly at like my level flight's about 6. Well, it's about 5'5".
I understand that. But look, the rule says bottoms are not between 1.2 and 1.8 meters. It doesn't say bottoms are not at the established from the God knows where.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
I know but it also
says 7-foot bottoms. The operative part of that rule right there, the way that I read it, is it tells you to do 3 smooth round loops all in the same place.
Yeah.
Okay. And I can tell you, as a judge, that would be one of the first things that I would do. If they don't overlap, you're getting downgraded.
I guarantee you.
If it's an 8 and you miss your intersection, it's getting downgraded.
But look at second and third loops may vary more than 0.6 meters, 2 feet from the path of the first loop. So you have 2 feet worth of error that you are allowed.
Yeah.
Second and third loops may vary more than 0.6 meter. I mean, this is in the rule book.
No, I think the variance is at the top of the loop. That 45 degrees is where you get that variance. The bottom has to be the same. That's what I'm reading.
Listen. Second and third loops vary more than 2 feet from the path of the first loop. So you're looking at the path of the first loop, and you have within 2 feet of that, it should be on the subsequent loops, should be within 2 feet of the path of the first loop. Also, the tops and the bottoms are defined. Plus minus 2 feet from the 45, and the bottoms.
That means
look,
your first loop can be 10 feet and your second one can be 14.
Yeah, but the third loop would then know 2 feet. If it's 2 foot, the first loop could be 10 feet, and then the second loop could be 12 feet, and the third loop could only be 12 feet. The first and second loop cannot be more than 2 foot off the first one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I say, like, we have a window of 2 feet in which you can put your loops in there. Yeah. But not just plus minus, okay?
But if that's the case, really, I never realized that was in there. That means you don't need to get intersections right.
Yes, it does. No, intersections are different, I think.
No.
Yeah.
No, because
hey, Peter.
You're doing 2 loops. So if you have a 2 foot radius on your loop, then that means you can cross in and out of your intersections.
Hey, Peter, pull that picture back up and go to the round eights. The horizontal eights.
Wait, 1 second. I was trying to get a bigger version of this. Okay, so this
scroll down to the round eights.
Okay.
Because with the round eights.
There we go.
Okay, there you go. What does it say about intersections right there? Last I heard, the intersections had to be spot on.
That's what I think too.
It says, yeah. However, I think they should be within the. Look, it says, again says, within 2 feet of the previous one.
Yeah, but here it says point of intersection varies as part of the errors.
Yeah, that's what I mean. From what I'm seeing here is, you don't. This ain't precision aerobatics. It's just aerobatics.
Mm-hmm.
They're precise about it.
I think that what it's telling you is that you have a tolerance.
Exactly.
Your loops could be 2 foot bigger than somebody else's. All right.
No. Like it says from your path of the first loop.
Yeah.
Sure. So you look at the path of the first loop, and then you go 2 feet away from it. And if you are in that window, you're fine. It's considered perfect.
Right. You know what? I'm looking at the rule book I have in my hand, and it talks about errors. And the errors are: model is not vertical at entry. Model at the top of the circles is not within 2 feet of 45 degrees elevation. Bottoms of the circles are not within 1.2
to 1.8.
Yeah, and then loops are not round and equal size. Points of intersection vary. That's considered an error. So your intersections are supposed to be spot on.
Yes.
But of course, if you make your intersection spot on,
and intersections vary.
But that's an
error. The same, right? And it's like an error. Saying if it's too high or too low, your tops and bottoms vary. Once you set it there, that's where you need it. So if your intersections are
there you go, right there. It says it right there.
The next ones have to be 2 feet off.
Right
within
there. Within 2 feet. 1038 from normal flight.
45 degrees.
Intersection point tangency of the circles must be symmetrical.
And the second 8 is, if this is an error, if the second 8 is not in the same position as the first, that's an error. So it,
within the 2 feet though.
Doesn't say, this says it's an error if it's not in the same position. I mean, if your loops aren't round, you're going to miss the intersection. You're going to miss your bottoms. You're going to miss your tops.
Okay, but look at the rules for the inside loops, for the outside loops, for the squares, inside square and outside square. They all specify that the path of the second and the third, the subsequent maneuver should be within 2 feet of the first one. Okay, so if you have on the horizontal 8 is 2 circles, right? Each circle, the second horizontal 8 should be within 2 feet of the first one. Okay, so you have a tolerance over there on everything. Every maneuver has the same rule.
But this rule book says that talking about the horizontal 8s, that those each circle must be tangent to each other. I mean, they have to be like kissing each other.
Yeah. So
So it
So you
should
can't
prove
have a 2-foot variance.
if they're gonna be on the same position and tangent,
yeah,
there's not much room for that 2 feet.
I
Right.
think
Well,
I
they
think
got
the
to be
2 feet
tangent
rule
within a
applies to
2-foot
everything.
tangent.
2 feet of the secondary path, 2 feet within from the first path applies on all the maneuvers, regardless. So you have a tolerance, a band of tolerance, because come on, it's like in everything in life you have a tolerance, right? You have an upper limit and a lower limit. If you make machine parts, you have motor parts, you have bearings. They all have tolerances in which you have to make the parts so the
All
thing
right,
is gonna
Train.
fit and gonna
Hey,
run.
Train, as good as your plane flies, we're going to give you 40,000s.
But on the
Yeah.
illustrations on the rule book, they show
That
the
hurts.
bearing at the tops of the loop at the 45. That's the greatest degree of variance at 45 degrees. Everywhere else in the illustration, it's concentric. They're one
Okay.
laid on top of the other, pretty much.
Okay, Charles, look at the square eights. Scroll back, Peter. Look at the square eights. Where is the tolerance in that maneuver?
You can be within 2 feet of the 45 degrees. But
Right.
when you do your second one, it better be right exactly in the same place as the other one.
Okay, but what about right and left?
Those just got to be the right distance. As far as I know, I haven't read anything yet that.
You'd go back to a square maneuver because that's just 2 square maneuvers.